Another exclusive. This is the world premiere extended gameplay trailer for a game that got announced last night at Bethesda Land. It is The Evil Within 2. Check this out.
Hello? Sebastian, are you there?
Lily?
All right, Mikami is back, and joining me now, man you saw on stage yesterday, if you watched the Bethesda press conference, the only person on stage, the one and only, Pete Hines, VP of Marketing, Global VP of Marketing and PR for Bethesda. Good to see you, Pete. So big press conference yesterday. I got to say, I loved how it was tight, compact. You guys got your news in like 36 minutes, I think. Tell us about your approach to E3 this year. You know, it wasn't a Todd Howard game year, you guys, but you did have two big new titles that you announced, and as you said on stage, all stuff coming out this year.
Yeah, well, that was a part of it, which is we really wanted to focus on stuff that was coming out this year, number one. You and I have worked together long enough. You know kind of my belief, which is I really want to announce stuff when you can, like we could talk about anything. We could talk about stuff that's coming out in 3 years, but I'd really rather be able to show it and show what it's really doing. And so I think for this year, we wanted to focus on 2017. We wanted to keep it going quickly and move fast through everything and not spend a lot of time. And to be honest, we have a lot of stuff in our booth. You know, you can play Wolfenstein, you can play the VR stuff. So we didn't want to spend a lot of time like doing sort of protracted gameplay. Like just come by our booth and check it out for yourself. And we're going to be doing a lot more this week to show folks like, yeah, I want to see more gameplay. I want to see more of the Evil Within or Wolfenstein. We've got a lot more to talk about this week beyond what we showed on Sunday.
And another thing that you talked about yesterday, I don't want to forget, is Dishonored 2. You guys are putting out a new expansion to that, which is going to be a standalone experience, right?
Standalone DLC.
Hunting the Outsider, it's coming out October? When is that?
September.
September. The other games are October.
Yes.
Exactly. Tell us a bit about that. So the team at Arcane is building an entirely kind of new self-contained experience.
Yeah, so if you know the Dishonored world, in Dishonored 2, you knew her as Megan Foster, who then, spoiler alert, later revealed herself to be Billy Lurk, who is Dowd's right-hand man. Dowd, you might remember from some of the DLC, Dowd's actually the one who kills the Empress in the original Dishonored. And this is a story about Billy working with Dowd to go back and kill the Outsider. Cool. They've decided they've had enough of this guy who is, you know, responsible for the cool supernatural powers you have, but is also responsible for a lot of the chaos. And they decide that the only way to bring some normalcy to this world in Dishonored is to take out the Outsider. And that's what Billy heads off to do, is a series of missions to get to the Outsider and then to take him out.
And the scope or scale of this, I know it's not DLC. It's sort of the standalone adventure. It's not a full-scale game.
But it's still, I mean, it's a full-scale game. Like it's going to have a significant amount of content. Okay. You know, it's I'm not sure what the full playthrough, but you know, 8 hours, 10 hours. I mean, it's a big, meaty, full piece of the Dishonored world where you get to explore new places and play as a new character in Billy, and you know, get more of that Dishonored experience that folks love, which is kind of playing the way you want, combining powers and combat to kind of move through situations. Are you going to be violent? Are you going to be non-violent? All of that stuff that folks have come to know Dishonored for. put in a standalone DLC.
And slightly lower price than a full game?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. $30 for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's great. So that comes out in September, and then October you have a big month
Yep.
with 2 titles coming out. On Friday the 13th, we get the.
You know me. I like cool, memorable dates, Jeff. And
They
survival
pitched that
horror
to you and
game
said,
on
"We're
Friday the 13th. That just seemed like a win.
The developer has to hit it, which is a challenge, I'm sure, for Maccabi, but it looks pretty trippy and out there. The trailer you had yesterday. You guys do always such great reveal assets for these games, and tell us a bit about that. We got a hint of a little bit more extended gameplay there. It seems like this is kind of a completely new story, right?
It is. It builds off of the last one, but it's the story of Sebastian is sort of completely fallen apart after the events of the first game. He comes to find out that the daughter that he thought was dead is actually alive.
Yeah.
Has been sort of captured by Mobius and is being used by them to sort of power this virtual world that they've created. And so he decides to go back in to try and save the daughter that he thought was lost. And so it's definitely a more powerful story in terms of this connection of trying to find the daughter that you thought was gone and save her. It's certainly a survival horror game, so it's definitely got lots of scary moments and tense and that kind of constant struggle for resources and surviving. But it's also introducing a lot more of an open aspect to the game. You know, I think one of the things we heard from fans was Evil Within, they had a lot of fun, but it was fairly linear. There wasn't a whole lot of sort of branching off, and I think this time they're trying to embrace that a little bit more and have areas where players can kind of go and maybe go do stuff that isn't important to evolving the story, but is important for, like, I need some more resources, I need to build some more ammunition, or I need some other stuff to kind of feel ready to go deal with whatever comes next. And so you have voice now and kind of branching off and doing side missions and other stuff that wasn't really a part of the first game.
Very cool. Well, it looked great. Another thing that we should talk about is Skyrim for the Switch. Very fun trailer to see. So full amiibo support in that game?
Well, for Link. I mean,
Okay.
not like every amiibo.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, we didn't
You
go
know
nuts.
Splatoon's gonna pop in.
No,
or
but
something.
we talked to the folks.
only Link.
Only Link.
Okay.
But talked to the Breath of the Wild folks, and they were big Skyrim fans themselves and loved the idea. We really wanted to kind of do an integration with them, their open world thing, our open world thing. So it was a lot of fun. They were great with providing us all kinds of assets to make it feel like a cool, unique thing for Skyrim.
Yeah.
You want to run around as Link and go slay dragons. Like, come on.
That was fun. And do we know when that's coming out yet?
We haven't announced a date yet, but
Okay.
later this year.
Later this year. All right, Skyrim finally coming to the Switch. I also want to talk to you a little bit about Xbox One X. You were here, I think, right after the Project Scorpio reveal last year, and we saw Todd in that video last year talking about that. So I assume, Evil Within and Wolfenstein are coming out October, but are they going to be enhanced for Xbox One X?
We're looking for all of our studios to add that level of support. BGS tweeted out last night that both Fallout and Skyrim are they're working right now on implementing support for X.
Yeah.
Are we going to call it X? What do we call it? XX?
Xbox.
But we will be providing updates for both of those titles to support it, and all
And
of
that's
our
sort of higher resolution, 4K, better frame rate, that type of stuff?
all of that stuff, taking advantage of the hardware. And Microsoft's been great. Phil Spencer came out last year with his team to kind of walk us through what they were doing and do sort of a tech dump so all of our guys could start to get up to speed on what it was capable of doing and kind of how we wanted to embrace it and incorporate it in our games. So it's been good, and we're really looking forward to doing more with our games to support the hardware and what it can do.
You mentioned BGS. Last year, Todd was here and kind of broke a little bit of news that the multiple projects sort of in the works there. Another Elder Scrolls down the road, and you probably answer questions every day on Twitter about
Down
this.
the road. Down the road.
A few games down the road.
To reiterate, they have at least 2 major titles that they are working on before we're going to get to Elder Scrolls 6. Jeff, we gave you that nugget, and somehow everybody, including your friend and mine, Michael Pachter, somehow everybody missed that. I tried to manage expectations for folks. You know the kind of games they make. They take a while, but they have two major things that they're working on in addition to a lot of other stuff. Skyrim Switch and all of these other things. They are hard at work. They have a lot going on. Like I said at the outset, looking forward to talking about that stuff when we get to a point where we can really show what they're working on and not just speak to it, but here it is, here's exactly kind of what it's going to be. And looking forward to those, and then we'll get to Test 6.
You only answer a question on Twitter about that a couple
Like
times
every
a day.
day, yeah.
But obviously, yeah, you said, and it feels like you said. I think some people interpret that like, oh, they're working on all three at once, but
No.
it's sort of like you have to. There's
No,
slots,
we're pretty
right?
clear. Like Test 6 is not in dev while
Yeah.
we work on. I mean, we're not talking about small things. We're not talking about like a Fallout Shelter kind of project, like big multi-platform releases like you expect from BGS.
Well, and that's the thing is, yeah, I'm sure you see all the rumors where people are like, oh, Todd's got his whole team planned out through 2032 or something. I saw.
Yeah,
which
for
was
sure. And look,
insane.
there was a lot of last night. There were the folks on various message boards that were posing as Bethesda folks. I have inside info and like found some trademark that we found and started spouting off. We're going to reveal this and we're going to reveal that. And I'm not in a position of being able to just jump in and pour water on every rumor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that folks got sort of swept up in that and believed that it was true, but they clearly didn't work at Bethesda.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were talking about. We weren't ready to talk about what BGS is up to. Again, we wanted to focus on what we were doing and coming out with this year.
No, that's I always love like especially their last two games where Skyrim VGAs or when you did Fallout at E3. I mean, it was Todd when he announces things, it's sort of like here's the date. Like it's like they'd like to be very contained.
More of an immediacy.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the case of Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
We could have talked about that last year at E3
Sort
if
of
we
teased it a
wanted
little
to.
bit, right?
Do you like that? That was
Yeah.
actually my idea. We wanted a kind of a DOS thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, we should do like a DRIR thing and
Yes.
stick the game name in there and just see if anybody notices. And of course, everybody did.
Oh, believe me.
But we didn't want to go anywhere beyond that because we wanted to wait until we could do something like last night, where you can really see sort of the story and
Were
character.
there any teases last night that we should be looking for?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But
Somewhere
I'm
in the
so
Bethesda
tired that
land
there
map,
might have
you
been, and
never
I
know.
forgot. You're right. No, but we wanted to stay focused on this year and sort of be like, we're telling you about it, and you can also come play it in our booth, and you can see a lot more about what it is, and not just like, well, we'll wait for another year before we can tell you more.
For sure, and now you guys are at a point where every game you ship feels like critically you ship some of the best games out there, and both those titles
try.
for
We
the
do try.
holidays look like they're going to be big, and I know Jens